I'm an artist from Canada living in New York, and I make photographs and videos and books. I'm here to give a talk and do studio visits as a visiting artist. I got here, I did my talk. I did 3 studio visits in the morning, did a lunch that was the Q&A lunch with a bunch of students and faculty. Then I did 3 more studio visits. I come from a background of graphic design, so I use a lot of graphic design skills in my work in service of a critique of the way design works in our culture and the way that kind of public popular images work. I discussed kitsch and kind of alternative meanings of kitsch and how kitsch plays into a lot of different things that we look at and experience in our shared culture. And I talked about design and how kind of cycles of design work and how capitalism works on us through images and artworks and how we kind of buy into certain things and reject others. And I talked about desire and how it can feel good to want things, but also it can hold you back and kind of keep you from living a good life. And color and how color gets used to sell things and how color kind of contains history and meaning that we don't always think about when we just look at stuff in the world. There's so much that in our culture that comes back again and again and that we think is new but is actually just a rehashing of something old. And I think there's a lot of potential in that to change things if we can recognize those patterns. For example, I talk a lot about the way that things are sold to us as this sort of novelty factor or as something new are actually often things that we've seen before and are sold to us with language that we've heard before, and how if we can kind of recognize that, we can start to see all these other ways that that happens and maybe step outside of those cycles a bit. My advice would be to take every opportunity and work like a maniac and to try to have an internet presence and put your work out in the world even if you don't think it's finished or perfect. One thing that I really felt like I said over and over again was that students should kind of try to recognize things that they're doing that are working in their work and then really dig their heels in and do that over and over again and see where that can go if they really commit to it. And that so much of being a student is these kind of accidental moments where you figure something out, but that you have to sort of follow through on each time that happens and see where else that can go. And that's when you'll really figure out what you're doing or what your voice is as an artist.